I've had some change of thinking here as of late. Watching the news, I like to consider myself a man of peace, and I always kind of not make fun of the guys, but I'm always a little leery of the guys who are so focused on tactics and combat and guns and shooting, and even though I love guns and I like to make gun videos because everyone watches gun videos and everything, but it's not a real focus of my life. I always look at, I don't even normally consider myself a prepper anymore. You know, I consider us homesteaders, because whatever happens with the economy, we want to clock out of society, whether it does great or whether it collapses. So I don't spend a lot of time on tactical matters and whatnot. But recent events have made me decide that it's time to add some for lack of a better word, combat type skills and preparation back into my regime here. The one thing that really kind of stood me up short. There was a lot of things that factored into it, but I was reading the transcript of this rally in Seattle, another one of these liberal protesters, and one of the Black Lives Matter people got up, and she was screaming and yelling and ranting and carrying on about how it was time to start killing people, and how she meant white people. She said white people, but she didn't mean white people. What she meant was regular people. Talking about how regular people have to give up their houses and have to give up their families and have to give up all their property, and we all have to dedicate our entire lives and all of our possessions and wealth to social change. That this means we got to give everything to them, and don't get caught up on the racial aspect of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is not really racial. There's a lot of really rich liberals behind them, paying them money, who's just used their issue to get them riled up. But it's not about race. That's just the issue they can use to get those particular individuals going. They do the same thing with other groups too. You know, the Occupy crowd, and all of these professional protesters right now. But this was the one who she really kind of blatantly came out and said it, that it was time to start killing people to get attention, and it was time to start taking away people's property and even their families in order to get what they want, what they think they deserve. And that kind of caught me up short, because you know, that's happened before a lot in history, lots of places, lots of times. You know, the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, all of Simon Bolivar's South American revolutions, the Russian Revolution. The only revolutions that doesn't happen in is the English Revolution and the American Revolution. We're a special case. The other thing that really made me say, okay, it's time to start preparing for a fight, is that I read a poll that says 1/3 of Americans are vehemently opposed to President Trump, and that's kind of the tipping point. When you have 1/3 of a nation dead set one way and 1/3 of a nation dead set the other way, that's when bullets start flying traditionally. That's kind of what happens in most instances. 1/3 and 1/3 fight, and 1/3 kind of tries to stay out of it. That's happened in the American Revolution and most of them. So we're getting close to that tipping point, where 1/3 of the nation feels so strongly one way and the other third feels so strongly the other way, and then all those people in the middle are going to try to stay out of it. And then, you know, you're watching what the left and the Democrats and the liberals, how even the responsible ones, quote unquote, in government positions, and how they're behaving right now, and how they are completely clocking out of government. You know, even Congress, the Democratic senators and congressmen are boycotting their functions and refusing to participate in order to avoid giving legitimacy or acting like they're involved. California is actively, officially talking about how to withhold tax revenue from the federal government, which, you know, in times past I would have been a big fan of. So I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite. but the whole state is talking about being a sanctuary state, and there's actually, go figure, the best secessionist movement in America, the one with the best chance of succeeding, the seceding that has the best chance of succeeding is in California right now. They're angry. They're entitled. They feel like they won, and they shouldn't have this reversal. That this is theirs now, and they should be able to run it the way they want. We're sitting on a powder keg, and we're just a match away from an explosion here. Once you start having liberals and Democrats having, shadow governments or meeting in other locations and whatnot, that's pretty much the last step. Nothing might happen. Things might go on like normal for the next 100 years, but the period we're in right now is very similar to periods that have preceded other revolutions and civil unrest and civil wars. The emotions are high enough. The issues are important enough. Think about it. We're not fighting about tax policy, really. I mean, we're talking about two completely and irreconcilable ways of life. You can't take people who believe abortion is murder and reconcile them with think abortion is a vital right that cannot be done away with. You can't take people who believe that guns are the only thing that secures their freedoms and reconcile that with people who think guns are the only thing that endangers their freedoms. Gay marriage, a whole host of things. Healthcare. There's people who see government-run healthcare as an existential affront to who they are, and a way for government to grab huge amounts of power over your private lives. There's other people who view it as a fundamental right that threatens their lives if they don't get it. You can't reconcile these two things. We can't live together anymore. One side has to win, and that means there has to be a conflagration. There has to be a fight. There has to be a confrontation. Hopefully, that fight is peaceful and at the ballot box. But so far, that doesn't look like it's going to be it, because even when the left loses at the ballot box, they go through the courts. And the right, the type of people who are on the right are the kind of people who kind of take it and keep quiet, and take it and keep quiet, and take it and keep quiet until suddenly they're just pissed, and then they start fighting back, and everyone's shocked and surprised at how angry they are. So I've always tried to avoid tactical training. I've always tried to avoid, that kind of preparedness. I don't have combat gear, or we used to call it web gear. I don't have huge amounts of ammo stored. But I guess it's time to start moving in that direction. And I say it here because, I think it's time for all men and families to start thinking this way. The best way to keep the hordes from ravening through our neighborhoods and stripping us clean and killing their ideological enemies is to be too strong for them to get away with it. The best path to peace is through strength. And I guess I had always thought that the best path to peace was to be quiet and unobtrusive and out of the way, and not have anything that anyone would value. But it's not going to work, because what they want is not tangible goods. What they want is submission, and they want submission is a good word in our ideology. I shouldn't have used that word, submission. But what they want is subjugation. They want to subjugate people. They want to make us bow to their will, and we have to agree with them and affirm their lifestyle and their beliefs, and they're going to turn to violence to do that. They've done it all the times before. The left has done this time and time and time and time and time and time again. This is nothing new. And we can talk about all the same things I've said before: French Revolution, Russian Revolution, all of them. The American left in the 60s. I'm going to do a video soon about the history of the violence on the left. It's chilling. But there it is. We're going to start preparing tactically here where we never have in the past. I would suggest everyone else do as well. Thanks, guys.